What up, guys? James from Bolt Bros here. Want to talk about the undrafted free agents, defensive players, and let's see what players might be able to find their way onto the squad. So, once again, guys, James from Bolt Bros. Let's go.
Bolt Bros!
Once again, guys, appreciate all the love and support. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel if you have not. We always appreciate your support, and also throw in some comments below about some of these players that we're going to be chatting about and see who might be a player that finds his way on this squad. So let's go ahead and jump right on into it, guys. So we got our first player here. The interesting thing about him, Michael Mason, defensive line. Coastal Carolina. We've dipped in once again to the Coastal Carolina squads once again. So first Wolford player to earn an all Southern Conference honors in 4 straight seasons. That's pretty amazing. Made the first team in 2020 spring season and 2022 for the Terriers. 4 solid seasons. He transferred up to Coastal Carolina where he started 13 games, led the team in 67 tackles, 10.5 tackles for loss, and 7 sacks. So that's pretty amazing to be able to see. He has the ability to be able to get after the quarterback, create some chaos. You got to love to see that. He's got a physical element to his game all around. He's kind of more of a tweener kind of guy, more like a Morgan Fox type role kind of guy. Really, right now, we don't got a whole heck of a lot of depth behind Morgan Fox. So this is kind of one of those guys that you might look at and say, hey, he could fit really well. I mean, if you look at the depth chart, Otito Obonia is kind of one of the guys on the list behind him. But does he fit that role? Not too sure. But I do feel like this is kind of one of those guys that could find a way on the team. He does have some very good run stopping ability that could help push him get onto the roster. So keep an eye out for Mason. So let's go into the next player here too. So next player is Savon Jackson, another defensive line guy from NC State. So he was one of the guys that took a top 30 visit with the Chargers. It was really interesting that he did kind of come up, and I was thinking we were going to end up getting him late in the draft, but guess what? We got him as an undrafted free agent. So 6'2", 263 pounds, more of kind of an edge rusher type size. But he's got a possibility that he might kind of go into that Morgan Fox role in the training camp. It seems like they're trying to really get into that role and fit that role one way or another. He is a 4-star recruit coming out of high school. Only missed 1 game with injury in 4 of his 5 seasons with NC State, with the Wolfpack. So he did very good all around to be able to earn the 9 jersey, which is actually reserved for defensive leaders at North Carolina State's program. Not necessarily the longest guy or athletic, but he does have good quickness all around and power to make an impact as a run defender. Once again, the theme is stop the run. Find a way to stop their run game. Make them throw on us. It fits really well if you think about it. Thule, Mac, Bosa at the D-line, Morgan Fox. It could be real dangerous if we force them to pass the ball. So once again, Savon Jackson's one of those guys to keep an eye on too. And once again, is sitting on the depth chart right now, too. So interesting to see him. Keep an eye on him. Next player here, we got Traymon Morris Brash, outside linebacker, UCF. So University of Florida here. 2023 All Big 12 first team honoree. All 5 years of his college career at UCF. Leading the Knights in tackles for loss for 20.5. 58.5 career tackles for loss were actually the most of any college football player at the end of the 2023 season. So he actually did a phenomenal job career-wise to be able to get tackles for a loss. You've got to love seeing that. A guy that will go after there and get, tackles behind the line of scrimmage. Love it. More of an edge rusher more than anything, and doesn't necessarily really have the power to hold up against rushing attacks, but will limit him to more of just a pass rusher type role. Got a very high motor all around. 4th corner stamina, which you got to love to be able to find that guy who could be that closer for you when it is critical all around. So good snapping, timing more or less for him. Feel for inside counters. Could really find his way onto at least the practice squad by adding a little bit more juice to get to the quarterback. He's got a good track record all around. He could be one of those guys. Morris Brash could be another one of those guys that finds his way more or less on the practice squad and a developmental type guy for us too. So keep an eye out for him. All right. Next player here, Jeremiah JeanBaptiste, linebacker, Mississippi. Once again, linebacker is a position I think that there is some opportunity for this team. I mean, once again, we don't have the biggest of the linebacking squad here too. Denzel Perryman, Troy Dye, and then there's no real guy behind them. Obviously, I know we got Junior Colson, Nick Neiman, Deion Henley, but he is one of those guys. Jeremiah JeanBaptiste could be a guy that finds his way on the squad. So once again, he is a teammate from at UCF 2019-2020. Jumped up to the SEC in 2023, starting 10 games for the Rebels, finishing 5th on the team with 54 tackles. Played middle linebacker at both Mississippi and UCF, a spot currently occupied by Denzel Perryman and Junior Colson. So there's a chance that he might be able to find a way on there. I think it's going to be kind of more a potential if he's going to find a way in the 53-man squad. It's going to be through special teams because he took 268 snaps on special teams in his 5-year career, primarily on the field goal block and punt return teams. That experience is critical all around. I mean, as you kind of see with the whole new situation of what's going on with the kickoff rules, this could be a great path for him to be able to find a way on the spot. You know, you got to think the other linebackers that he's going to be competing with is Nick Neiman and Troy Dye for their special teams value all around. So it's going to be against those guys more or less. He's going to find a way on this team. So keep an eye out for JeanBaptiste. Love the name, by the way. Moving on, we got one other player here. Once again, we're digging a little bit more into these North Carolina State type players here. So we got Robert Kennedy, cornerback, North Carolina State. We're not talking about the guy who's trying to run for president. This is a cornerback here. He is interchangeably as a cornerback or safety, depending on where you look. He's more of a pure nickelback type player, and will kind of really look to be taking that nickelback, role all around with this team. Jasir Taylor is kind of that guy right now, and Tarheeb Still obviously got drafted too. So those are the two guys that he's going to be able to have to go against. It's going to be an interesting battle for that nickel back type position. He was unranked out of high school in 2018, started out at Lackawanna Junior College before transferring to East Carolina, Old Dominion, and finally North Carolina State. Starting nickel for the Wolfpack in 2023, 2 picks, 1 for a touchdown and a fumble recovery, 4.58 speed at 5'9". So he's not the biggest dude all around, but he has good production on getting, picks, fumble recoveries, and such. So that's one thing that a lot of people like seeing. They like to be able to find somebody who could really get after the ball and to be very, very active and physical. Once again, physicality is a big thing with this team, and that's something that Harbaugh has wanted with his players. So once again, guys, keep an eye on him. Moving on to the next player here, guys. We got kind of a run here, more or less, of a lot of cornerbacks here. We got Zamir Walton, cornerback, Mississippi. He is a 6'1", 188-pound cornerback, runs a 4.5 140, so not too bad a speed. 5-year member of the Georgia Tech program with tight end Luke Benson, which we chatted about. Walton transferred to Mississippi before the 2023 season to join up with linebacker Jeremiah JeanBaptiste. So he kind of has a lot of correlation with players already on this team. Big thing about it is that he is primarily an outside cornerback, but does have about 335 special team snaps under his belt. A lot of these guys undrafted guys are going to find their way on this team through special teams. Bottom line, he has a nose for the ball, knocking away 21 passes and intercepting 5 and 6 seasons in college. He was flagged 4 times in his final year at Georgia Tech, which is not the greatest of thing, but he did cut that number in half in his lone season at Mississippi. So he did better all around, not being as handsy as a player. He is finding a way to track the ball better. He is finding a way to be able to be a lot more clean with his role as a cornerback. He'd be more of a Dean Leonard type role, similar size, but ran more of a 1/10 of a second faster when he's coming out of Mississippi himself. So the cornerback, nickel back position is going to be a big thing for us, for this team all around. Keep an eye on Walton for this preseason. So be fun to watch. Next player here. All right, guys. Akeem Dent, safety from Florida State. Man, we dip a lot into this Florida State type of position for us. 4-year starter. One of those guys that is a true center field type skill set all around for the safety position. Once again, this is one of those areas on this team that we didn't even go out to draft a safety at all. But this Akeem Dent guy is one of the dudes that could find a way on the squad. Once again, we only have Derwin James and Lowy Gilman as the starters. We still do have JT Woods. AJ Finley was an undrafted guy last year. That's kind of about it. This safety position could really be a great battle all around for this team. Dent is really one of those guys that has a very solid RAS score, a relative athletic score at 8.65. He could definitely stick onto special teams right away while he hones his instincts as a true safety. Give him time. This will be a developed type player all around for us. He does have a little bit of experience at corner and nickel too, so he could be shifted around a lot in training camp. Be interesting to be able to see what the rookie mini camp brings for him too, and where they want to try to put him all around. So keep an eye out on Dent. I think he's going to be one of those guys that could really truly find a way on the 53-man squad for this team. It's really about pushing JT Woods and AJ Finley's position all around. So, but once again, special teams is big for this player too. So keep an eye out for him. Moving on, keeping up with the safeties. Here we go. Thomas Harper, safety from Notre Dame. This kind of makes a lot of sense, right? I mean, we kind of keep dipping into the Notre Dame pool of players here. Chris O'Leary, safety coach, is with the Chargers right now. We have actually gone out there and got Cam Hart too. This guy, Chris O'Leary, knows who he is as a player. So when Harper awaited his turn to start at Oklahoma State, stepping in a role at safety 2020 and 2022 and starting 7 games before he's tearing his right labrum. It's kind of a bummer to be able to hear that. After surgery, he entered the portal and landed with Notre Dame, and then also ended up being with Chris O'Leary, who's currently our safeties coach here too. So a move piece in the Fighting Irish defense in 2023. Harper has 3-level contributing ability as a blitzer, slot defender, deep safety. I really liked watching him play. He played close in the box. He did a good job of attacking the quarterback, finding a way to be able to add some pressure all around. Did a great job playing kind of in the box as a slot defender and also in the deep safety side of things. Probably will be, once again, looking at the nickel position all around with the Jasir Taylor and Tarheeb Still position. So he also does have some special teams snaps, about 315 snaps. So once again, that's another way that he could find a way on this team. Safety position is going to be one of those things where he is going to be looked at quite a bit, but he might be also that nickel back guy for us too. Keep an eye out for him. I'm interested to see where they end up putting him all around. Now keep talking about more safeties here. The theme is, though, quite a bit of safeties all around for this team. So Jaylen Phillips, safety from Clemson. He's a 6'1", 204 pounds, 32 and 3/8 arms. He's a very, very sure tackler all around. He did run about a 4.62 40, and his films reflects a lack of speed to hang on to with vertical routes. So that's kind of one thing that is going to be kind of a knock on him. He does need to get a little bit quicker, which is a tough thing to be able to work with. But he is a guy that potentially could be more of a slot guy, in my opinion. But we'll see where he leads with the safety. Pure special teams contender, truly, once again, 650 snaps in 5 seasons at Clemson. So Phillips profiles more as a traditional box safety when he does play defense, where he could adequately cover tight ends and shallower zones. So once again, he's not going to be that guy, that home run guy, that deep field type guy. He'll end up getting burned. He's going to be more in the box, closer to the line type guy. He could get a shot at a backup role behind Derwin James, who defensive coordinator Jesse Minter said he will play closer to the line of scrimmage. So he could kind of fill possibly that role behind Derwin James, because he is better closer to the line if he's going to play more in the box per Jesse Minter. So once again, Jaylen Phillips, keep an eye out for him. Now, once again, guys, this is all of our players that we're looking at this moment for undrafted free agents. I did want to just kind of throw out there, too, some of the other positions all around that we're kind of looking at. Now, once again, I'm just going to throw the depth chart at you so you can get an idea a bit more about what we are looking at currently for our team. Now, once again, they didn't necessarily put all the players on there, but it's about looking at where are some of the gaps in this team all around. So if you look at kind of where it's at right now, Morgan Fox, Tino Obonia, Savon Jackson is being the third. Now, once again, there's a lot of battles that'll be there too. You start thinking the Puna Ford, Gerard Clark. Now you got CJ Okoye, who will find a way on this team somewhere or another. That's just kind of how it is with the international program. But you got to start looking at the right defensive end. Justin Boygby with Scott Matlock. Who's behind them? Bosa, Tooley, Locks, Andrew Farmer, Ty Shelby. Who's going to be behind those two players too? Denzel Perryman, Troy Dye. We chatted a little bit about some players that could be middle linebacker type guys for us. He can be a player. There is a couple players on the squad that can find a way to be able to be that middle linebacker for us through those undrafted free agents. Now, Junior Colson, Nick Neiman, Deion Henley, kind of a lock on that right inside linebacker position. Strong side linebacker. You go Mack, and then it's Hollins, Rump, Braven Allen. Are those guys going to be able to do well for us? I'm not sure. Christian Fulton, Dean Leonard, Jasir Taylor seem to be pretty good position guys for us, but I think there's going to be somebody else that's going to be able to find a way to push on this team. Derwin James, JT Woods. We'll see where JT Woods sits at this point. His big thing is finding a way to be able to be a great tackler. Thomas Harper, we'll see where he ends up lying, but there's going to be a battle there behind Derwin James. Alohi Gilman, AJ Finley, Akeem Dent. Dent has a good chance to be able to find a way to get past AJ Finley. We'll see. Sante Samuel Jr., Tarheeb Still, and Cam Hart, I feel, are pretty solid guys for us at this moment. We'll see where it all lands here, guys, for this whole squad all around. But once again, there's a lot of really good players on this team. There's a lot of chance with this team. There is a lot specifically on the defensive side of things where this team can shift around players that are going to be more depth guys. Be cool if we find some good undrafted free agent, gems here. Once again, I feel we've had a pretty good track record with that in the past. So hopefully we find a few that we've chatted about here for the defense. So once again, guys, James from Bolt Bros, want to hear from you. Once again, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Let us know what players that you're kind of interested in, these defensive players, and which ones might find a way on the squad. So once again, guys, James from Bolt Bros, let's go.